Have you ever wondered how many classic films are hiding in plain sight on YouTube right now, completely free, just waiting to be rediscovered? Every week, more vintage treasures quietly appear, and if you blink, they're gone again. Some come from restored prints, others from long-lost archives suddenly resurfacing. And buried among them are titles that shaped entire genres without anyone noticing. Stay with me, because one of the films on this list has a twist most viewers never saw coming. Number 15, The Big Lift, 1950. The Big Lift begins with a bold idea. Instead of rebuilding war-torn Europe on a soundstage, the filmmakers packed their cameras and flew straight to the real ruins of Berlin during the late 1940s. What you see on screen isn't clever set design. It is the actual city still covered in broken stone, collapsed buildings, and streets that look frozen in time. Montgomery Clift plays an American airman stationed in Germany during the Berlin airlift. But here's what makes this film stand out from the usual post-war dramas. Most of the supporting cast aren't actors. They are real service members stationed there for the mission. When those planes land, when the crews rush to unload supplies, when the camera pans across endless lines of cargo, none of it is staged. It is all rooted in what people were truly doing there. Director George Seaton insisted on showing the truth. No glossy glamour, no softened lighting. Just a divided city starting its long climb back to normal life. The result is a film that feels half documentary, half drama. Cliff's character becomes your anchor through all this, giving a human face to a demanding operation. Watching it today brings a strange mix of sadness and hope. The Big Lift might not have the explosive pace of modern films, but its honesty pulls you in. It is a rare look at a moment when the world was rebuilding itself one flight at a time. A quiet, grounded classic that earns every minute of your attention. Number 14. Suddenly, 1954. Suddenly opens like a peaceful afternoon in a small American town, but it does not stay calm for long. Frank Sinatra steps into one of the most unexpected roles of his career. Instead of playing a charming singer or romantic lead, he turns into a cold, calculating figure who takes over a family home on a quiet hillside, and he does it with an intensity that still surprises modern viewers. The brilliance of Suddenly is that it never rushes. It lets tension build one careful moment at a time. You hear footsteps on wooden floors. You watch worried glances bounce across the room. And Sinatra's calm voice makes every line feel like it matters. He brings a level of focus you rarely saw in mid-century thrillers. Here's something most people don't know. The film's pacing was inspired by real hostage-style standoffs that had been studied by screenwriters of the era. They wanted the film to feel personal and unpredictable. That is why the camera stays tight on the actors' faces rather than jumping around with big dramatic shots. Another detail that elevates Suddenly is how it uses the small-town setting to make everything feel more real. There are no big cities, no massive chases, just a living room, a family, and a slow tightening of nerves. The more ordinary the setting, the more intense everything feels. Sinatra proves here that he could carry a dark, grounded performance with surprising depth. Suddenly is a sharp, controlled thriller that shows how suspense can be built out of stillness, not noise. Number 13. The Last Time I Saw Paris, 1954. The Last Time I Saw Paris begins with a warm, nostalgic glow, but beneath the charm lies one of Elizabeth Taylor's most underrated performances. This film follows a struggling writer who returns to Paris years after walking away from the love of his life. The city becomes a memory box where every street corner, cafe, and bridge pulls him back into a past that refuses to stay quiet. What makes this film memorable is how honestly it handles ambition, regret, and the delicate line between love and responsibility. Taylor plays Helen with a natural grace that deepens the entire story. Her scenes balance brightness and heartbreak in a way only she could pull off during the 1950s. She doesn't oversell a single emotion. She lets the quieter moments breathe. The film is based loosely on a short story by F. Scott Fitzgerald, which explains the bittersweet tone. There is that familiar feeling of people chasing dreams that keep slipping out of reach. The screenplay leans into that atmosphere, showing how joy can linger in the same place where pain once lived. Paris itself becomes a character. Foggy mornings, soft lights, and long river walks create a backdrop that never distracts but always enhances. The Last Time I Saw Paris is not a loud film. It is a reflective one, a gentle classic perfect for anyone who loves emotional storytelling with a touch of old-world beauty. Number 12. Kansas City Confidential, 1952. Kansas City Confidential wastes no time jumping into mystery. A masked group pulls off a clever armored car job, leaving behind almost no clues except one. A delivery driver is falsely suspected, dragged into the chaos, and forced to clear his name. From that moment on, the story becomes a deep dive into double identities, secret deals, and people trying desperately to stay one step ahead. The film's biggest strength is the way it uses shadows, angles, and sharp lighting to build tension without relying on noise or spectacle. Every scene looks slightly off balance, like something is hiding just outside the frame. That visual style would later influence several well-known crime directors in the late 1960s and early 1970s. Lead actor John Payne brings a tough but quiet edge to the film. He doesn't play a flawless hero. He plays a man backed into a corner who has to outthink people far more connected than he is. His frustration, determination, and suspicion play out with convincing nuance. Behind the scenes, Kansas City Confidential gained a reputation for its clever plot structure. Instead of revealing everything at once, the film slowly lets you piece together the puzzle alongside the main character. Each new location feels like another layer peeling back. By the time the truth unravels, you realize the story never stopped tightening. This is one of those hidden classics that remind you how powerful a well-crafted mystery can be. Smart, stylish, and quietly intense from start to finish. Number 11. DOA, 1950. Few films start with a hook as bold as DOA. A man walks into a police office and calmly reports that he has been harmed and has only hours left to explain what happened. From there, the story races backward, following his desperate attempt to uncover who targeted him and why. The film turns the entire plot into a ticking countdown that never loosens its grip. What makes DOA stand out is its unique structure. Instead of unfolding like a typical mystery, it pulls you into the main character's panic and confusion. Every clue takes him deeper into a maze of strangers, bars, offices, and alleyways, each one adding pressure. The film refuses to give him or the audience a moment to breathe. The cinematography is equally impressive. Night scenes glow with neon reflections and long shadows, capturing the nervous energy of big city nightlife in the 1950s. Many critics say the visuals alone influenced later noir films for decades. The lead performance by Edmund O'Brien is the real anchor here. He plays the character not as a superhero, but as a regular person thrown into something far bigger than he understands. His fear feels real because it never turns dramatic for effect. It stays grounded. DOA is more than a crime story. It is a warning wrapped in suspense, reminding viewers how quickly life can change. A lean, relentless classic that still hooks audiences 70 years later. Number 10. The Big Combo, 1955. The Big Combo opens with one of the most stylish chases of the mid-century era. Fog, stark lighting, and quick footsteps echoing through dark corridors. From the first minute, you know this is not a gentle noir. This is a lean, sharp, moody story about a police lieutenant trying to bring down a mysterious mob figure whose shadow stretches across the entire city. What makes The Big Combo unforgettable is its visual identity. Cinematographer John Alton turns every frame into a study in contrast. Light never lands fully on a character. Faces fade into shadow. Rooms glow with eerie outlines, and every close-up feels like a truth trying to hide behind a curtain. These images became so iconic that film schools still use them to teach lighting techniques. Cornell Wilde plays the determined officer who refuses to let go of the case even when everyone around him insists it is impossible. His stubborn focus makes him both admirable and flawed, which gives the film surprising emotional depth. Meanwhile, Richard Conte delivers a quietly chilling performance as a crime figure who never raises his voice yet commands absolute fear. The Big Combo also introduces moments that pushed noir further than many films of the time dared to go. Dialogue is clipped, the mood is tense, and the pacing is strict and confident. By the end, you realize The Big Combo isn't just a crime story. It is a visual punch, a sharp reminder that style, when used with purpose, can make a story unforgettable even decades later. Number 9. The Stranger, 1946. The Stranger begins with an unsettling mystery. A quiet college professor living in a peaceful American town is not who he appears to be. A visiting investigator arrives, convinced the man is hiding a dark past, and the film begins weaving a cat-and-mouse story built on suspicion, charm, and secrets tucked behind polite smiles. Orson Welles not only plays the lead role but also directs, giving the film a unique blend of intensity and calculated restraint. His character's pleasant exterior slowly cracks, revealing layers of unease. It is the kind of performance that grows heavier with every scene. You can almost feel Welles shaping the rhythm of the entire film from inside and outside the frame. The real brilliance of The Stranger lies in its escalation. It starts quietly. Small questions, odd behavior, a few lingering glances. Then the tension tightens little by little, turning the serene town into a place where every shadow feels suspicious. Welles uses everyday settings like schoolyards, living rooms, and wide streets to make the story feel unsettlingly normal. A fascinating detail. This was the first major studio film to use real footage from historical events, giving it a weight and authenticity that set it apart from other mysteries of the era. By the time the final confrontation arrives, you realize The Stranger is not just a detective story. It is a slow burn about identity, deception, and the danger of underestimating people who blend in too well. A gripping, atmospheric classic. Number 8. Impact, 1949. Impact starts with a clever hook. A successful businessman survives a strange accident, only to discover that people around him may not be who he thinks they are. From there, the film shifts into a mix of mystery, drama, and personal rediscovery, as he retreats to a small town to rebuild his life under an assumed identity. What makes Impact so engaging is its balance between suspense and heartfelt storytelling. Many noirs lean entirely on intensity, but this one takes its time exploring how someone might rebuild themselves after losing everything. The small-town sequences, filled with friendly neighbors and honest work, contrast sharply with the earlier scenes of deception. That contrast gives the film a surprising warmth. The lead performance by Brian Donlevy grounds the entire narrative. He plays the protagonist not as a hardened noir figure, but as a confused, hopeful man trying to understand why his life suddenly flipped upside down. His vulnerability makes the film more relatable than many thrillers from the same era. Impact also deserves credit for its clever script. Instead of relying on one big twist, it weaves smaller discoveries throughout. Each clue, each conversation, each shift in emotion pulls the viewer deeper into the story. By the end, Impact proves itself as a rare noir that blends tension with genuine empathy. It is a hidden gem that feels both classic and surprisingly refreshing. Number 7. Scarlet Street, 1945. Scarlet Street opens with a moment of kindness. A quiet cashier helps a woman he believes is in trouble, and from that single decision, his life unravels into a maze of misunderstandings, ambition, and emotional manipulation. This film is one of Fritz Lang's finest achievements. It is soft at first glance, then slowly coils into a tight, almost suffocating character study. Edward G. Robinson delivers one of the most layered performances of the decade. He plays a gentle, lonely man who longs for respect and connection, making him vulnerable to the false flattery of people who see his kindness as an opportunity. Watching him struggle between hope and fear gives the entire story a powerful emotional core. Joan Bennett and Dan Duryea, as the two people who take advantage of him, turn every scene into a psychological tug-of-war. Their charm is calculated. Their conversations are loaded with hidden motives. Lang frames them with such deliberate composition that you always feel tension simmering beneath the surface. Scarlet Street is also known for its bold themes. Instead of relying on action or spectacle, it dives into the consequences of deception and the fragile nature of trust. It shows how a single lie can grow, twist, and consume a life. The film's climax is haunting, yet restrained, capturing the essence of noir without stepping into brutality. Scarlet Street stands today as an early example of emotional suspense done right. It is a masterclass in slow tension, layered characters, and the tragic weight of misplaced hope. Number 6. The Amazing Mr. X, 1948. The Amazing Mr. X begins like a soft, dreamy romance set on a foggy coastline. But things shift quickly when a mysterious spiritual advisor enters the picture. He appears charming and confident, offering comfort to a grieving woman who believes her late husband may still be reaching out to her. What follows is a blend of supernatural mystery, psychological tension, and elegant old Hollywood atmosphere. Turhan Bey plays the enigmatic advisor with smooth confidence. He never tips his hand too early. Every smile feels layered, and every quiet moment hints at something deeper. His presence alone makes the film both mesmerizing and unsettling. What truly elevates The Amazing Mr. X is its cinematography. The beach sequences shimmer with moonlit shadows, staircases stretch into dramatic angles, and interiors glow with soft, ghostly light. The film looks visually richer than many higher-budget productions of the 1940s. Every shot feels carefully composed to build mood rather than hurry plot. The story moves between illusion and truth with surprising grace. Instead of leaning on loud scares, it focuses on atmosphere and emotional vulnerability. The result is a mystery that feels both intimate and hypnotic. By the end, you realize The Amazing Mr. X is not just a spooky drama. It is a stylish, smartly crafted noir that uses suggestion instead of shock. A perfect example of how classic cinema could create tension using nothing more than shadows, whispers, and a hint of doubt. Number 5. The Pied Piper, 1942. The Pied Piper begins with a simple request. An older traveler is asked to escort two children out of a tense European region at the start of a growing global conflict. What looks like a light responsibility becomes a challenging journey across borders, villages, and uncertainty. The film blends gentle humor with surprising emotional depth, creating a story that feels both warm and suspenseful. Monty Woolley leads the film with a perfect balance of stubborn charm and reluctant heroism. His character starts out gruff, even impatient, but as more children join the group, his protective instincts rise to the surface. Watching him slowly shift from annoyed guardian to determined caretaker is one of the film's finest pleasures. What sets The Pied Piper apart is its sincerity. The film does not rely on spectacle. Instead, it focuses on small, meaningful moments, simple meals shared in cramped rooms, quick decisions made at quiet checkpoints, strangers offering kindness when least expected. All of it creates a sense of humanity shining through uncertainty. The supporting cast enhances the journey with believable warmth. Each child has a distinct personality, and their interactions feel natural rather than scripted. Their presence turns the story from a simple mission into a heartfelt adventure. By the end, The Pied Piper becomes more than a travel story. It becomes a reminder of how courage often comes from unexpected places. A gentle, resilient classic that still earns its place on today's must-watch lists. Number 4. Angel and the Badman, 1947. Angel and the Badman opens with a dust-covered wanderer collapsing on a quiet frontier farm. He is worn down, injured, and running from choices that have finally caught up with him. When a kind family takes him in, the story shifts from rugged action into something far more thoughtful, a tale of transformation set against the wide-open landscapes of the American West. John Wayne delivers a surprisingly tender performance. Instead of playing the unstoppable frontier hero he was known for, he brings vulnerability to his role. His character slowly softens as he experiences patience, honesty, and the steady warmth of a family that treats him with respect instead of fear. This shift creates a slow but powerful emotional arc. Gail Russell, as the compassionate young woman who nurses him back to health, anchors the film's heart. Her calm strength and gentle presence help guide the wounded visitor toward a version of himself he never believed he could become. Their connection is quiet, respectful, and grounded in slow understanding. Visually, the film captures the spirit of the West beautifully. Sunlit fields, rustic cabins, and wide horizons create a serene backdrop for a story about change rather than conflict. Even the smallest outdoor scenes carry a sense of peace. Angel and the Badman remains one of Wayne's most understated classics. It proves that a Western can be soft in tone without losing impact. Sometimes, the most powerful journeys happen in silence. Number 3. Fear in the Night, 1947. Fear in the Night begins with a nightmare. A man wakes from a vivid dream convinced he has done something terrible, yet there is no proof, no witness, and no explanation for the images he cannot shake. From the moment he tries to make sense of what he saw, the film becomes a psychological puzzle where every detail feels both important and misleading. DeForest Kelley, long before his later fame, delivers a compelling and restrained performance. He plays his role with a believable mix of confusion and quiet fear, grounding the story in relatable emotion rather than exaggerated drama. His reactions feel genuine, which makes the dream sequences even more unsettling. The brilliance of Fear in the Night is how it blends simplicity with tension. The film does not rely on elaborate twists or high-stakes action. Instead, it builds a slow, steady atmosphere where the line between dream and memory becomes disturbingly thin. Every conversation hints at something deeper. Every location feels like a clue waiting to be interpreted. The supporting cast adds texture, especially Paul Kelly, who plays a friend trying to understand what is happening. Their back and forth creates an engaging rhythm that keeps the mystery alive. Fear in the Night stands as one of the clever early examples of psychological noir. It proves that suspense does not need noise. It only needs doubt planted in the right place. Number 2. Royal Wedding, 1951. Royal Wedding starts with bright lights and wide smiles as a brother-sister dance team travels to London for a series of performances during an upcoming royal celebration. The energy is high, the music is lively, and from the first step, you know this film is designed to sweep you into a world of rhythm, charm, and pure joy. Fred Astaire leads with the easy grace that made him a legend. Every dance he performs in Royal Wedding feels effortless, yet filled with innovation. The most famous moment, of course, is the iconic dancing on the ceiling sequence. The entire room rotates, making it appear as though Astaire defies gravity with simple ease. Behind the scenes, it took careful planning and a precisely built rotating set, making it one of the most creative dance scenes in film history. Jane Powell matches Astaire with bright, cheerful energy. Their duets shine with harmony and personality, and their performances feel like a celebration of classic film musicals at their peak. The film's London setting adds extra charm. Streets decorated for celebration, bustling theaters, and lively hotel scenes give everything a festive glow. Royal Wedding does not aim for emotional heaviness. Instead, it offers pure cinematic joy. By the end, the film leaves you smiling without relying on drama or mystery. Royal Wedding is a feel-good classic that proves entertainment does not need complexity. Sometimes, a perfect dance number is more than enough. Number 1. His Girl. Friday, 1940. His Girl Friday explodes onto the screen with rapid-fire dialogue that never slows down. Reporters rush through hallways, phones ring non-stop, conversations overlap by design. This is one of the fastest talking films ever made, and it still feels fresh today because of how skillfully it balances comedy, wit, and pure cinematic momentum. Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell ignite the screen with unmatched chemistry. They play two journalists caught between their personal history and a breaking story that refuses to wait. Their banter is sharp, clever, and relentless. Lines are delivered with machine-like precision, making each scene feel like a verbal dance that spins faster and faster. One of the film's most impressive achievements is its timing. There is not a wasted second. Even background characters contribute to the sense of controlled chaos. Every moment pushes the story forward, and every exchange adds another layer of humor or intrigue. Behind the scenes, director Howard Hawks encouraged the cast to speak faster than usual to create the famous overlapping dialogue style. He wanted the film to feel breathless, alive, and unpredictable. That experiment worked so well that modern comedies still borrow from it. His Girl Friday remains a benchmark for smart humor. It shows how creativity and speed can turn a simple premise into a timeless classic. Even after 8 decades, it still surprises first-time viewers with its energy. So, there you have it. 15 classic films hiding right on YouTube, each one waiting for the right viewer to stumble across it before it disappears again. These movies prove you do not always need a subscription or a blockbuster budget to enjoy something unforgettable. If one of these surprised you, drop a comment and tell me which one you are watching first. And if you want more hidden treasures like these, make sure to subscribe. The next list goes even deeper.